Hi, welcome to section 3, Analyze Data with MapReduce Basics. Now this is the section we have been waiting for, right? Because this section includes the core concepts of MapReduce, and it also talks about the framework, and it talks about the whole Hadoop thing, how it works and everything. And then we'll also perform the practical in this section. So in this section we're going to take a look at what is MapReduce, what is MapReduce Framework, architecture and use cases. We'll talk about the input splits, and then we'll see the practical how to assign a particular job to Hadoop system and how to give data to the system. So first thing first, we'll talk about MapReduce, and in this whole video we're going to take a look at what is MapReduce. Now to understand this MapReduce, we need to understand how this whole MapReduce framework exactly works. So you can see over here we have a framework wherein you can see that this framework has been divided into 6 different steps. Every step has got a meaning attached to it. So you can see on the left hand side, we'll start from the left hand side where you get to see the input, then you get to see split, mapping, shuffling, reducing and final result. So on the left hand side, you get to see that I want you to just focus on this part where you see the data which is in bulk, right? So you can see that we have, so many rows in the data, and then split, we have divided these rows into 3 different parts, and these 3 different parts, which says rat, mat and cat, is going through a phase called mapping, where you get to see something called as comma 1 is attached to it, right? And this comma 1 value which you get to see is rat comma 1 is being where the key is rat and the value is 1, and then you get to see that every stage in this mapping phase is connected to the next phase of shuffling and reducing, and after that it goes to the final results. So what I'm gonna do is diagram. Once I'll come back and I'll explain the whole process again. So let's understand the whole thing one by one. So MapReduce Basics, in the first phase, the data which is being given to Hadoop, we actually store that data in HDFS system, and we let our Hadoop access this data. And then what happens in the split phase, Hadoop split the incoming data into smaller pieces called splits. We also call them as small pieces of the data. Now in the next phase, which is called map phase, the MapReduce processes each split according to the logic defined in the map function. Whatever the logic will define in your command, it will just start working on it, and each mapper function works on each split at a time. Each mapper function is treated as a task, and multiple tasks are executed across the different nodes and coordinated, because it's a distributed processing system, so it can just pick up the map into different and multiple nodes. Then we have the combine, which is an optional step, like often used to improve the performance by reducing the amount of data which is being transferred to the network, but it is not necessarily always there. But again, it is being done by a combiner, which will actually reduce and aggregate the output of the map function before it is being processed to the subsequent steps. And the fourth step is called shuffle and sort. In this step, the output of all the mappers is shuffled, sorted to put them in order, and grouped before sending it to the next step. And then we have reduce step, which is being used to aggregate the output of different mappers using function called reduce, and the output of every reducer is sent to the next and final step. Every reducer is treated as a task, and multiple tasks are executed across the different data nodes and coordinated. And finally, for every reduce data node, like every reduce operation, you receive some data which you combine in the final step and write it on the HDFS as a final output. I want you to go back and just pick up this data set over here. Now you can see on the left hand side, we'll start from the input thing, which says that we have a data. In the second step, what I'm going to do is I want to split this data. So my data has been split into 3 different rows. You can see rat, mat, cat, mat, cat, and rat, mat, rat. Right, so this data, whole data has been split into different and smaller chunks of the data, and has been given to different data nodes for mapping. Now here you can see that each value in that row is being converted into a key and a value pair. Every time you pick up a word, you assign a key to that particular word, and that's how my rat is rat comma 1, mat is mat comma 1, and cat is cat comma 1, and so on and so forth for all the distributed processing system. Now it's been done on different mapping devices, and you get to see that every mapping devices is now going through a shuffling phase where it will sort the data, and the similar kind of item is being sent from all the nodes to different nodes. And this stage over here on this side, you get to see that they are all connected to each other. So I want you to just look at this step over here. So this mapping phase is connected to this shuffling node, and then all data is being processed from here to here. So wherever the rat is being needs to be shuffled, it will be going there, map is going to be here, and cat is going to be here, and so on and so forth. And it's been done by all the devices, right? So all the data nodes will start sending and shuffling the data from here to there, and then finally you will get the nodes which has got all sorted data, shuffled data, completed data in one data node. Now what this data node will do is will convert this key value pairs from k1 v1, if I call key value pairs as k1 v1, into a k2 v2 kind of pair, where it will aggregate the whole data set with whatever the data has been received from different mapper nodes is being received over here, and it will convert this whole data set into a key value pair part 2. So this rat comma 1, rat comma 1, rat comma 1 will be converted into rat comma 3. Now this has been done by all the data nodes which has got different amount of data, and then they will pass this whole data set into something called as reduce function, where this reduce function will actually aggregate up the output from different nodes, rat3, mat4, cat2, and combine them together to make a final result. This is how the whole MapReduce thing works. Hope it's easy for you to understand. So we have seen this how this MapReduce thing works.